One time, my ex very boldly gonna tell me, "Oh, I know you're probably not used to a man being here for you because of your disability, and I'm probably the first non-disabled man you've ever been with who has helped you." What's up, loved ones? I am back and very excited to chat with y'all today. I'm going to be doing my makeup because your girl got a video to record today. And your girl's going to actually get dressed up for it. While I am doing my makeup, I wanted to chit chat with y'all about something that's been heavy on my brain when it comes to dating with a disability. I know a lot of people, dating is a big topic in general, but when you have a disability and you're trying to date, it's a whole other experience. What a lot of people don't know about is a term called interabled dating or interabled relationships. Side note, all of the products that I am using will be linked in the description below. Let's get started about this whole interabled dating. What's the difference between interabled dating and dating in general? And how can you have the most success long term? Now, mind you, a lot of people in the disabled community are very successful with having long-term interabled relationships, right? Shane and Hannah are a great example. Hell, they wrote a whole book about interabled relationships and interviewed a ton of people who are in interabled relationships. And not that I'm any sort of expert or anything like that when it comes to dating or interabled dating. I could just only speak about my particular experience. When it comes to dating and interabled dating, which is the only style of relationships I've ever had. I've actually never dated a person with a disability, at least not one that I was aware of. It's not to say that I wouldn't be open to it. I'm open to whatever. I just know with the kind of lifestyle that I live, baby, if it's already a struggle for me, why make it a struggle for both of us? If they're a person with a physical disability. Now, if they're a person without a physical disability, but they have some other form, or maybe they're neurodivergent, we can rock with that. But two physically disabled people with the kind of lifestyle that I live, I just feel like it would be a little bit more challenging. To be completely honest, I've never had anyone with disability really holler at me and be like serious about it. I have had people with disabilities holler at me and seem to be serious, but serious in the sense of wanting to get my number or have access to communication with me, but not genuinely want to take me out or really get to know me, made them interested in who I was or anything like that. The only people that have done that is non-disabled men. And I've only dated interabledly. That some things that I've noticed when dating interabled is multiple things. So I'm just gonna go through all of those things, and then hopefully by sharing this, it'll help somebody else with their dating journey. Biggest things that I've always had to deal with is proving how non-disabled, quote unquote, I am, so that way they don't feel like a caregiver in our relationship, and that I am actually a very independent person and I don't need them. I want them to be here. Now, there are layers to that, being disabled, but also as a Black woman, we get conditioned to learn to do bad all by ourselves. And I'm trying to break that habit in my dating experience. So with that, I end up over performing or over exhausting myself and not letting myself be taken care of, which is what I ultimately want in a relationship, then I come off too independent where men just don't want to fuck with me. They don't feel like they have a purpose in my life because I can do all bad by myself, quote unquote. You know what I mean? When really it's, no, Lauren, you need help. You want help. And even if you don't need help, get the help. Okay? You don't need to prove anything. But I think when you are a woman with a disability, you want to make sure that your man doesn't feel like your caregiver. You want to make sure that if your man is showing up for you to help, it's genuinely because they want to help and support you, not because they feel obligated to, because you, quote unquote, can't do it. You see what I'm saying? And that's hard to navigate. But what I've recognized, because I have a disability, is when I want to show up in my soft life or my soft girl era, it isn't perceived the same way as it is with non-disabled women. So a non-disabled woman could sit back and be like, oh, babe, can you grab me my soda, my Stanley cup out the fridge, please, and give it to me on the couch? Even though she's fully capable of getting up and getting that Stanley cup on her own. But if I say, hey, babe, can you grab my Stanley cup out the fridge? It feels like charity work. It's perceived as charity. When the other way, it's, oh, she's being cute. She wants me. She needs me. I have a reason to be in this woman's life. Is this making sense? And for me, that has always been a bit of a struggle to navigate. Is how do I create a scenario where a man could show up for me and I can live in my soft era, but have it not be perceived as charity work, because there are still certain things that are unique to my disability that man is going to have to show up for, regardless. Whether you like it or not, if you fucking with me, you helping me off low seats, and you're going to help me lift extremely heavy things. You're going to help me get off the couch every once in a while, or out of the shower, or whatever my needs might be at any given time. You might have to cook more than me, because cooking is actually a very challenging and daunting task on many levels. So that has always been like a bit of a challenge. To be honest, I don't think I've ever really figured out exactly how to navigate. That's something that I'm still learning. Again, this is just a chit chat. I'm just sharing what I have become privy to in hopes that it helps y'all, especially during this season. Ooh, no, I'm gonna bring out this palette. This is one of my favorite palettes ever. Shout out to Juvia's Place. They are so good. So that has been something I have taken into account to learn how to battle my own internalized ableisms, breaking that habit, breaking that conditioning, so that way the soft life era that I want to live in partnership with a man, these are the things I'm learning to do. But sometimes these lines can get really convoluted when you have a disability. So knowing that's the case, I genuinely have had to rethink my approach when asking for support from a partner, so that way it's not perceived as caregiving support, but just simply supporting your partner because I'm a woman and I want to live a soft life. And all women, most women, want to live a soft life if there is going to be a man in close proximity to their everyday living. That's just my general consensus. That's what I know based on the conversations I have with my girls. Now, I know everybody different, but this is just my opinion. This is just my experience and know-how. So, anywho, so that's how that ends up happening. And as disabled women in particular, there are moments where we do have to remind our partners, like, hey man, before you, obviously I was surviving. Obviously I know how to get through my day. So don't get too comfortable thinking you're being my Superman either. Let's talk about that. Because then I feel like a lot of times non-disabled men who date disabled women end up getting this superiority complex. They think they should be rewarded for it. Not to say that gratitude should not be given towards them for the way that they show up for you. There is a little bit of ego that I've recognized when dating non-disabled men, of them genuinely feeling like they should get some extra special type of brownie points. Because if I was a non-disabled woman, would you expect this from her? Probably not. It's this feeling of I'm doing God's work by helping you. So if there are things that you can do as a non-disabled woman or non-disabled person, you should do those things on your own regardless. Every once in a while, sure. Oh my gosh, can you help me with this? Sure. Be the damsel in distress every once in a while. But you can't get too comfortable in that because, again, the perception of it doesn't always get reciprocated in the same way if you are a non-disabled woman. And that's just the reality. And the reason I know that men do that is because one time my ex very boldly gonna tell me, oh, I know you're probably not used to a man being here for you because of your disability. And I'm probably the first non-disabled man you've ever been with who has helped you. Young man, that's when I was like, first of all, you are not. Secondly, you don't want me to disrespect you with my roster. You don't want me to disrespect you with my roster, young man. Because, see, your little ego got a little too big. Baby. Your little feelings would get hurt if you found out the men that I've dealt with in my past. Because, baby, woo, I done had a couple of them. My Lord. Woo. Okay. Anywho. Hold on. Let's get back focused. Anywho. The point that I'm making is if you don't check these egos, they will really... Hold on. I gotta stop chit-chatting for this part. Hold on. Okay. But honestly, if you don't check these non-disabled men's egos and let them know, baby, they will really think they are like doing you this big favor. And I'm sure a lot of men are being very helpful. I'm not saying they're not allowed to say, hey, Miss Ma'am, don't get it twisted. I'm here in support of you as well. I get that. However, when they get to big talking, like, that's when you have to check them. Because ultimately what that does is inflate their ego and diminish your spirit. No woman, no person can afford to be with any partners that will try and deflate your presence and your existence. And if we are not careful, especially as people with disabilities, if we are not careful in recognizing those red flags in partners, they will use our disabilities. They will use our disabilities as a reason to attack, villainize, diminish, disrespect our whole existence and worth as a person. And we cannot have that happen. Period. As you can tell, this could be a little bit of a triggering conversation. But they will. They will make you feel like you are entirely helpless. They will make you feel like no one else is going to love you beyond them, that nobody else is going to want you beyond them, because they know that the reality of dating with a disability is a lot more challenging than it can be for non-disabled women. Now, segue into this next part of this conversation, though, is that feeling of, oh, it's harder for disabled women than it is non-disabled women, is a fucking lie. It is a fucking lie. I'm here to combat that train of thought. You know how I know? Because I know more disabled women that are married than I know non-disabled women that are married. Clock that T. So I want us as disabled people to stop feeling like, and this is me also talking to myself, we need to stop telling ourselves that it's harder for us to date than it is non-disabled people to date. Because that's simply not true. Non-disabled people are having just as much of a challenge dating as disabled people are. Sure, do disabled people have to go through other circumstances to date, or having to fight through other people's biases or discriminations or whatever it is? Y'all know what word I'm trying to say. Do we have to deal with that? Yeah. But the benefit of dealing with it is that makes it easier for us to weed out who we shouldn't fuck with to begin with. So I want us to stop telling ourselves that fucking lie. Because it ain't just us, y'all. It's everybody out here struggling when it comes to dating. Okay? Men, women, gay, straight, otherwise. Everyone is out here. We don't know what it is. People say it's social media. Some people say it's dating apps' fault. Whatever it is, it's a challenge for everybody. We don't know if this is strategic or from the government. It is what it is. The point that I'm making is we need to stop telling ourselves that. And another thing we have to stop telling ourselves, and this is a conversation that I had with my BG once when I was talking about somebody that I was involved with. And she was like, and I was telling her like, yeah, he's making me feel some type of way about asking for this or wanting some support in that. And she was like, BG, here's what I need you to know. What you're asking for as a woman is no different than anything I would ask for as a woman when I'm dating a man. She told me straight up, stop thinking that just because you have a disability and you're asking for something, that you're asking for something different out of a man, because you're not. You are asking what women ask of their man just as much as anybody else. You're not asking for anything different. You're not asking him to show up for you differently. You are asking him what women ask their man to do, period, across the board, disabled or not. So stop thinking that just because you have a disability, you're asking for too much, or you're doing too much, or you need to do it on your own. No. You are a woman asking for a request out of your man. That's how this shit works. And ever since that conversation, I had to really check my own self and be like, you know what? She's right. Because I know I'm not asking for anything unreasonable in a partnership. I genuinely know that. So I know this Blush, let me show it to y'all real quick because I am doing my makeup and I'm just chatting away. But get into, my Lord, get into this blush. Get into it. Y'all, I'm just going to swatch it on my finger. Look at that. Look at how pretty that is. Oof. Okay. I'm just obsessed with this, so y'all don't mind me. Even if I am asking for something that a non-disabled person wouldn't normally ask for help with, you're dating a person with a disability. You should expect that there will be requests or situations or circumstances that are just going to show up differently for you because of who you chose to date. And that's okay. Can I necessarily go run with you in Runyon Canyon? No. But also, would I want to even if I wasn't a disabled person? Probably not. You see what I'm saying? It's not that complicated. Are we going to go places that are inaccessible and piss us both off? Yes. That is the reality. But is this one or two or few inaccessible places the reason to destroy an entire relationship when you really rock with somebody because of their character and who they are as a person? It shouldn't be. I think that's the other thing, kind of wrapping this whole chit chat up, because I'm basically done with my makeup at this point, which I'm very happy about. Non-disabled people, I genuinely want you to learn and understand that if you are using inaccessibility of the world as an excuse to not date disabled people, it does not constitute a reason to not give somebody who is of good character, who is loyal, faithful, kind, genuine, and all these other beautiful things that make a partner a great partner. They should not be excluded just because they can't hike with you for whatever reason. And unbeknownst to you, they probably can hike with you. But because you're not privy to a person's disability or how they've learned to access the world, you have already excluded an entire community of people that could actually be really beneficial to your life, whom you can actually really fall in love with. But because you're still so stuck on, I don't know if we can go to this concert together, I don't know if we're going to be able to travel the world together, you're missing out. Because if you're taking dating seriously in the way that we all should be, especially if you're 30 plus years old like myself, you will recognize that it's harder to find people that are honest. If this woman is honest with you, she loves you, she takes care of you in the best way that she knows how, she makes you feel emotionally safe, physically safe, mentally safe, you can be fun and free with her. Who gives a fuck if she can't go up a flight of stairs? You want to work with people who are open and willing to figure it out. People who are open and willing to ask the right questions, to show up in the right ways. And even if they show up wrong, they want to know how to course correct. These are people that you want to be in relationship with. If they're asking questions, you have to understand we cannot assume that everybody knows the ins and outs of disability. So yes, at the beginning, it's going to take some time because you're going to have to teach your partner how to do this life with you. But if this person is open to doing it, then let it happen. You can't be mad at somebody for not knowing, especially when it comes to disability, because most people don't know, which is why they make those assumptions and they rush to conclusions about us and who we are. Because what they don't recognize, for example, is they could be like, oh, I don't want to be with you because you can't run upstairs. But then you get with a non-disabled girl who's like, Running upstairs just ain't my jam. That's not how I work out. But you'll give her the chance while you completely excluded me because you just assumed. Little do you know, there's a trail that has no stairs, and I can meet you at the top. You didn't know that because you didn't give me a chance. You weren't open to the possibility of it. And that's the part that I want to be sure everybody understands. One, that people with disabilities, that we understand that sure, there are limitations to certain things. We know that, we're aware of that, but we need to stop acting like those are the reasons why we don't deserve to be loved. We need to stop acting like those are the reasons that we don't have worth as a partner, or that we don't deserve to be in partnership with people. If we're good people and we're kind people and we know how to show up for others, then we deserve it too. As non-disabled people, I need y'all to stop excluding people with disabilities from your dating possibilities, because a lot of what you're excluding us for isn't reality. A lot of what you're assuming about our lives isn't necessarily true. So until you learn about that particular person and their needs and their accessibility needs, learn who they are first. If you can't handle it, please leave. We're not asking you to show up and be in relationship with people you don't want to be in relationship with. What I'm saying is become open to the possibility, learn who that particular person is, and if it's too much for you, then you can bow out. But at least give it the opportunity, because at the end of the day, non-disabled girls or men or whatever your preference is, they're not showing up for you in that way either. So if they're not showing up as well, and yet you're excluding an entire demographic of people, you might want to open your mind and your world up to a different demographic of people, because they may show up for you in the way that you least expect it and in the way that you need it most. Because of their particular experiences, they can relate to you more in a way that you didn't even think that they could. Do you see what I'm saying? So, I don't know, y'all. I just felt like I wanted to go on that rant, on that chit chat. Where's my lipstick? Should I go here with it? I think I could go here. Yes, I'll go here with it. I don't know, y'all. That's just, mind you, these Fenty Gloss Bomb sticks. Oh my gosh. These are so good. So that's just my thoughts about it. If you have any tips or suggestions on this topic, go ahead and leave a comment below. Like this video if you found it helpful, if you found it relatable to your experience. Do y'all see that? Fenty Beauty, they know what they doing with these glosses, baby. And then we're going to add a little bit more gloss on top, because I like my lips juicy. But if you have any thoughts or comments about this whole topic, please leave a comment below. If you have any advice, go ahead and leave a comment below. Because, baby, it's just an honest conversation we were supposed to have. I promise you. It was needed, especially during this time when dating can be such a challenge. But I just really wanted to encourage people with disabilities that it's not just you. We have to stop telling ourselves that it's us or it's because we're people with disabilities. We genuinely have to stop telling ourselves that, because that's not necessarily the case. Sure, is there discrimination that happens? Yes, but that's natural. People get discriminated in dating because of their hair type, because of their race, so many reasons. If those people don't want you, then don't want them. This is the final look. Tell me what y'all think of this makeup look. All of the products, well, as many of the products as I can find, will be linked in the description below. And so now it's time for me to get dressed. Thank you, y'all, for chit-chatting with me. This was such a great conversation. And yeah, keep it going in the comments. All right, y'all, I gotta go. Bye.